My name was in the ledger, written in ink from 1897, with a cross already drawn beside it, and the cross was fresh. What already knows your name? Part 2 of 4. I want to tell you I ran. I want to tell you my body made that choice cleanly and fast. It did not. My legs were stone. My vision had narrowed to a tunnel around that hand, everything at the edges of the room gone black, the hanging bulb irrelevant, the crates irrelevant, everything in the world reduced to those small pale fingers pointing the wrong way at the ceiling. The hand did not move after it came through. It rested on the stone floor, palm up, the backward fingers curled slightly, patient, waiting. The way a child's hand looks when they want something placed in it. I made a sound. I don't know what kind. My throat produced it without permission. The hand retracted, slowly, back through the gap, and the gap closed, not like a door, not like a seam pressing shut, but like an eye closing, the stone knitting together from both edges inward until there was nothing there. No mark, no crack, smooth original stone where the gap had been, as if it had never existed. My legs unlocked. I crossed the room in 4 steps, grabbed my bag, left the laptop and the gloves and the ledger open on the table, and I went up the stairs. I stood in the main corridor of the ground floor for a full minute breathing. The renovation crew was on the upper level. I could hear their tools. I told myself acoustic anomaly. Old buildings move. Old buildings make sounds that travel through stone in ways that cannot be predicted. I told myself the gap was a pre-existing crack I had not noticed. I told myself a trick of the light made the hand shape in the gap. My brain was trying to save me. I let it. I went back down. I know how that sounds. But the records were my responsibility, and I needed this contract, and there was a rational explanation I was choosing to accept, and the hand had retracted, and the gap had closed, and nothing was happening now. The ledger was open to a different page. I had not turned it. The ledger had been open to 1903 when I left. It was now open to 1897. I stood in the doorway and stared at it for a long time. Then I walked to the table and looked at the page. A single entry column had been circled in something dark, not ink, too wet. A rusty reddish brown that had not dried yet. The circle was drawn around one name. My name, Farid bin Osman, written in colonial-era script, faded brown ink, in a ledger from 1897, my exact name, in a list of plantation workers, with a cross already drawn in the margin beside it. I stopped breathing for 11 seconds. I know because I counted. My name was not unique. Farid Osman, a common enough combination. It was a coincidence. It had to be. But the wet circle was not from 1897. The wet circle had been drawn while I was upstairs. Something had drawn it while I was standing in the corridor telling myself about acoustic anomalies. The bulb flickered. Once, in the new dimness I saw it, standing at the far end of the chamber, between 2 stacks of crates, in the space where the deepest shadow pooled a small figure, child height, perhaps a meter tall. It was not hiding. It was standing completely still, facing me directly. Its feet were 4 centimeters above the stone floor. I could see its face. The eye sockets were black. Not dark brown, not shadowed. Black, completely, the way only empty spaces are black, cavities that went back farther than a skull should allow. The skin across the cheekbones was gray, white and cracked like old glazed ceramic, the fissures running from the corners of its mouth upward toward the temples. Its mouth was open. Not wide. Just slightly. Enough to see gray teeth. It was not moving. I could not move either. My hands had gone numb from the wrists down. The pressure in the air had returned, heavier now, and my sinuses ached from it, and my eardrums pressed inward like something was compressing the atmosphere in the room. Then its head turned. Not its body. Its head only. It rotated toward the open ledger on my table a full 90 degrees to the right, while its body remained facing me. The rotation was slow, mechanical. The sound it made was not the sound of a neck. It was a dry wooden creak. It was looking at my name in the ledger. And then it spoke, the same child's voice, old Malay, but this time not counting. This time only 4 words spoken once, in a register so calm and flat that it was worse than any scream. Kauto kalmadidi sini, you know you died here, not you will died, past tense. The kind of sentence that only makes sense if time here works differently than it does anywhere else. As if the death had already happened. As if I had already been in the ledger for over a century. As if I had never been an archivist who drove up from Kuala Lumpur on a Tuesday morning. As if I had always been one of those names with a cross in the margin. I looked at the cross beside my name. The ink on the cross was fresh. The child had not moved. Its head was still turned 90 degrees to face the ledger facing my name, and very slowly, with the patience of something that has been waiting since 1897, it began to walk toward me. It stopped 1 arm's length from my face. The smell hit me like a wall. And it lifted 1 backward fingered hand and pressed it flat against my chest, directly over my heart. That's it for part 2. Follow Untold Lores for part 3. Like and subscribe for daily stories.